Precisely 1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Sharifa Tahir. Headlines. Asian Development Bank grants 8 billion rupees for farming families in Sri Lanka. State Minister Ranjit Siyambalapitiya says that the government will act responsibly regarding the imposing of taxes. Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that journalists have a responsibility to create a society full of knowledge. Air quality has significantly improved this morning in all major cities in the country. The government has initiated many programs to control the drug menace of the country. Peru gives Mexican ambassador 72 hours to leave as spat deepens. Local news in detail. Farmers will receive 10,000 rupees to 20,000 rupees from the government from next week. The President's Media Division said the government received 8 billion rupees from the Asian Development Bank following a request made by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Accordingly, money will be deposited to accounts of the farmers commencing next week. Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaraveera said each family cultivating less than 1 hectare will receive 10,000 rupees, while those cultivating on lands more than 1 hectare will receive 20,000 rupees. The 1.2 million farming families are expected to benefit from the program. State Minister Ranjit Siyambalapitiya says that the government will act responsibly regarding the imposing of taxes. The income of the country mainly lies on taxes. Taxes must be increased to overcome the present economic challenges in the country. The taxpayers will be praised. Speaking to the national radio, the state minister said that special discussion with the main taxpayers of the country will be held on Friday. Air quality has significantly improved this morning in all major cities in the country. According to the report issued by the Environmental Studies and Services Division of the National Building Research Organization, the ambient air quality index level with respect to PM 2.5 at 8 a.m. was either good or at moderate levels in all urban areas. Air quality index level with respect to PM 2.5 at 8 a.m. in Kandy and Colombo was 29, while it was 32 in Badulla. The NBRO noted that the air quality in areas such as Colombo, Kalutara, Jaffna, Mullaitivu, Vavuniya, Trincomalee, Kurunegala, Puttalam, Kandy, Badulla and Galle was at moderate level, while it was categorized as good in all other cities. Ambient air quality index level in several towns in Sri Lanka has deteriorated to unhealthy levels in recent weeks, prompting health authorities to urge the people to wear a face mask where possible. Experts are of the view that the air quality in Sri Lanka has deteriorated since air pollutants have been entering the atmosphere from the Indian subcontinent, which led to transboundary air pollution. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation giving you the news. We continue with more stories here at home. Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that journalists have a responsibility to create a society full of knowledge. A country needs journalists who have broad vision. The minister made these remarks while addressing the annual SLBC Media Scholarship Awards ceremony. It was held this morning at the Ministry of Mass Media Auditorium. This program was organized by the Ministry of Mass Media. The purpose of this program is to create an environment for journalists to improve their skills via training courses and encourage them to face the challenges of their journalistic career in the 21st century. The government has initiated many programs to control the drug menace of the country. Special Presidential Task Force has also been set up in this regard. This task force will act to control import, distribution and selling of drugs in the country. The task force will also take legal actions against the drug dealers. Measures have also been taken to rehabilitate the drug addicts in Kandakadu and Senapura camps. Justice Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says that there are 6 rehabilitation camps under the Prisons Department. That's local news for the moment.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Sri Lankan government has focused on bringing in foreign investors whose projects help mitigate the effects of climate change. It is the government's plan to bring in foreign investors to achieve the three goals of reaching a target of 70% renewable energy, achieving carbon neutrality by 2050 and finding global carbon markets for carbon emission allowances. A discussion in this regard was held recently at the President's Secretariat under the chairmanship of Presidential Advisor on Climate Change, Ruwan Wijewardena, and Eric Solem, Presidential Advisor on International Climate Change. Mr. Solem shared his international knowledge on future energy sources such as concessional climate finance, carbon credits, carbon markets, renewable energy and future energy sources such as hydrogen, with the officials attended the discussion.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Let's celebrate Christmas and New Year with CIB with special gifts, discounts and easy payment schemes available till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
Cabinet spokesman Bandula Gunawardena said Buddhist Impali University is expected to be reopened subject to several new amendments. Addressing the cabinet briefing yesterday, he assured that the university will be reopened under new amendments and conditions. The minister said revised conditions will be reached with full participation of all the Mahanayaka Theras and other religious leaders.
Let's celebrate Christmas and New Year with CIB with special gifts, discounts and easy payment schemes available till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Peru gives Mexican ambassador 72 hours to leave as spat deepens. Gambia panel says India firm culpable for cough syrup deaths. Taliban ban women from universities amid condemnation. World News in detail. Peru has ordered the Mexican ambassador to leave within 72 hours after Mexico granted asylum to the family of ousted Peruvian President Pedro Castillo. Mr. Castillo was removed from office earlier this month after he tried to dissolve Congress. He is being investigated in Peru on charges of rebellion and conspiracy, but Mexico has been supportive of the ousted president and said early on that it was considering granting him asylum. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has called the removal of Mr. Castillo undemocratic. A parliamentary committee in the Gambia has recommended prosecution of the Indian manufacturer of cough syrup suspected of causing the deaths of at least 70 children in the country. It said Made in Pharmaceuticals should be held accountable for exporting what it called contaminated medicine. The WHO had issued an alert in October advising regulators to stop the sale of the syrups. Made in Pharmaceuticals had denied the allegations. Government labs in India said their tests on the syrups found that they were complying with specifications. An Indian official said last week that the WHO was presumptuous in blaming the syrups. Finally, on World News, the Taliban has banned women from universities in Afghanistan, sparking international condemnation and despair among young people in the country. The Higher Education Minister announced their regression, saying it would take immediate effect. The ban further restricts women's education. Girls have already been excluded from secondary schools since the Taliban returned last year. That's on World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says discussions are underway to establish a new commercial high court which will have exclusive jurisdiction on the matter pertaining to the Colombo port city. He made this remark addressing an event organized by the Colombo High Court Lawyers Association in view of its 25th anniversary. The event was held on the 19th of December, and speaking further, he stated that the high courts will have new roles to play in the country's judiciary system with the introduction of new laws such as environment, climate change and women empowerment. Meanwhile, the Cabinet of Ministers has granted the approval to issue 3 types of visas to investors and service providers at the Colombo port city. That's on development news. Moving on to sports news. In soccer, Manchester United have triggered 1-year contract extensions for a quartet of first-team stars, including England's Marcus Rashford. Negotiations continue with goalkeeper David De Gea, whose deal is due to expire in the end of the season. Last week, manager Erik ten Hag said United will be triggering options for Rashford, England's Luke Shaw, Portugal defender Diogo Dalot and Brazil's Fred. All 4 players would have been free to leave Old Trafford in June. In the meantime, in golf, players who have signed for the controversial Live Golf circuit will be allowed to play at the 2023 Masters, Augusta officials have confirmed. Live players, which include previous Masters champions Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson, have been suspended indefinitely from the PGA Tour. But Masters chairman Fred Ridley said the event's focus was to bring together a preeminent field of golfers. And that's on sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest. An interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
This was news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Elon Musk has said he will resign as Twitter's chief executive officer when he finds someone foolish enough to take the job. The billionaire promised earlier to abide by the result of a Twitter poll which saw 57.5% of users vote yes to him quitting the role. He says he will still run the software and service teams after his replacement is found. Changes on the platform since his takeover have been much criticized.
This was news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest. An interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Economic news, courtesy of...
For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first, and this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC. Imagine the possibilities.
Lanka Sathosa has slashed the prices of 5 food items including big onions, red lentils, local canned fish, chili and sprats. Accordingly, big onion has been reduced by 5 rupees per kilogram, red lentils has been reduced by 7 rupees, and 425 grams of local canned fish has been reduced by 10 rupees, and chili has been reduced by 15 rupees per kilogram. Sprats has been reduced by 50 rupees per kilogram. That's on economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather Report.
And on the weather update, the Department of Meteorology announced showers will occur at times in northern, eastern, over and north central provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western, central, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Gola and Mathura districts during the afternoon and night. General public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporarily localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. And that's the weather update. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, back to the headlines. Headlines. Asian Development Bank runs 8 billion rupees for farming families in Sri Lanka. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitia says that the government will act responsibly regarding the imposing of taxes. Minister Bandana Gunawardena says that journalists have a responsibility to create a society full of knowledge. Air quality has significantly improved this morning in all major cities in the country. The government has initiated many programs to control the drug menace of the country. News overseas, Peru gives Mexican ambassador 72 hours to leave as pat deepens. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.